Hi guys, this is Klazart and welcome to another audio commentary. This time I'm bringing you Game 1 of the GOM TV Season 2 MSL Finals between Stork and Bisu, and this is a game that I have been really looking forward to some time now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this matchup. It is an absolutely epic matchup coming here. Both these players have really earned their place in the final with some sensational performances, and I'm looking forward to see what these guys can produce for us today. The match is being played on GOM TV Loki, and I'm just going to pay attention to the colors here so I don't get confused later on. And Bisu is in white and Stork is in pink. So Stork starting up at the 8 o'clock position in pink and Bisu at the 2 o'clock position in white. Both of these players are absolutely at the top of their game. They are fantastic players in terms of both micro and macro, and I'm really excited to see what these two guys are going to come up with here today. Stork in the semi-finals had to defeat his own teammate Firebat Hero, and he absolutely romped through him, didn't give him any chance at all, although his confidence will be a little bit down after his semi-final defeat versus Iris in the OSL semi-finals, which is obviously the other star league in Korea, and generally considered to be the more prestigious league. But this is a chance for MBC Game Star League to show how good it is, with hopefully an epic matchup between these two players. The map they're playing on right now is Loki, which is an interesting map because you've only got 2 spawn locations. So one of the things that I've seen that players like Bisu do very early on in most games is that they scout very early, and this is one of the things we're not seeing Bisu do here today. He hasn't started scouting just yet, so he is scouting a little bit late. I think in Protoss versus Protoss games you can afford to do that because it takes time for the Protoss to get that first unit out to block that ramp effectively, and so therefore, especially on a map where there are only 2 spawn locations, it's very difficult for Protoss players to deny each other's scout. And Bisu, indeed having started up that first gateway, is sending his probe down towards Stork's base to scout, and both players really going for identical builds at this point in time. Both players are, as I said, at the top of the game of their micro and macro, and when players are just pushing the envelope the way these two guys are at the edge of their gameplay, there can be very little often to separate them. Often they both choose the same strategies because they know what is the perfect strategy to play on the map, and obviously both players on this occasion choosing to start out with similar builds. Stork now has started up his second gateway, so Stork going for 2 gateways, so there might be the possibility of an early rush on here. Again, the factor of only 2 spawn locations and the relatively close distances between the 2 bases is probably influencing Stork's decision. It'll be interesting to see if Bisu has gone for 2 gateways as well, and it does look like he's starting up his second gateway as well. So both players again going for virtually identical builds, and Stork's probe is just now going to get into Bisu's base to scout, and Stork again starting up the other pylon. So Stork, neither player teching just yet, both players content to start up their gateways and to build up their early force before they either decide to expand or tech, and it'll be interesting to see if there's a variation in strategy here at this point in time, whether one player chooses to tech while the other chooses to expand. That will probably make the difference in the game if that were to happen. At this point in time, both players in identical positions, absolutely nothing separating them. Bisu, of course, got through to the finals by making absolute mincemeat out of Gorush. He just destroyed Gorush without even a second thought. Gorush didn't have a chance versus him. That is a Protoss versus Zerg matchup, obviously, and that is considered to be Bisu's strongest matchup. Stork definitely would be a little bit of a favorite, perhaps in terms of current form for the finals, because Stork is considered to be the best Protoss versus Protoss player right now. He's had some amazing record in Protoss versus Protoss this season. He's beaten players like Nalra and Reach to get to the finals, who are probably, you know, some of the best Protoss players of all time, definitely 2 of the best Protoss players of all time. Bisu, however, is a champion. He plays like a champion, and when the pressure is on, when he needs to deliver, he does deliver. He was unfortunately undone again in the OSL quarterfinals, but he's had more than enough time, that means, to practice for this, because he hasn't had to practice for anything else. And when Bisu has time to prepare, I think he tends to do a good job. I think he tends to be ready for whatever comes his way. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if Bisu showed us all to be wrong and showed that he is as good as Protoss versus Protoss as he is at his other matchups. Again, the fact of the matter is that Bisu has lost to Stork this season in Protoss versus Protoss, and that would give Stork a slight psychological edge going into this matchup, and that makes the first game all the more important. If Stork wins this first game, it's going to make Bisu feel that perhaps he is an inferior player to Stork. But if Bisu takes this, it's going to give his confidence right back. Stork, however, should know that he does have the ability to beat Bisu. And Bisu just continuing to pump out the Zealots. He's got about 5 Zealots out now. Stork has got about 4 as well. So both players just chasing the probes around in their mains, and both Bisu and Stork both starting out their respective next expansions as well at their natural expo, and also starting their tech. So both players again with virtually identical builds, very little to separate them in this part of the game. Bisu with a couple more Zealots than Stork right now. He's got about 6 Zealots, and he's just sending them down towards Stork, probably to harass him a little bit. Stork himself has got about 5 Zealots. He's got 1 less Zealot than Bisu, and I'm sure he'll produce a couple more in a second, and then should be equal. But again, this whole scouting thing is a little bit problematic for Stork. Bisu is still scouting in his base, whereas Stork, I think his probe has already been killed, so that's obviously a little bit of a disadvantage for Stork. And Bisu now coming down to harass Stork's expansion with 6 Zealots, and Stork's Zealots were busy up at the top of that ramp, and now Stork is coming down to try and fight those Zealots, and 2 of his Zealots in very bad position. So Stork finds his army separated because 2 of his Zealots are down at the bottom of the ramp, although that does make it more difficult for Bisu to go up the ramp because he might find himself surrounded. And Bisu now attacking that Nexus at that Natural Expo, and if that Nexus goes down, Stork will find himself in trouble, and Stork needs to come down that ramp and confront Bisu here. Bisu's got about 7 Zealots, Stork coming with a probe, and Stork has less Zealots, so Stork looks like he stopped producing Zealots, concentrating more on his economy. He's only got about 6 Zealots there. Bisu already outnumbering Stork by a single Zealot, and Stork also bringing out a probe, but that's not going to matter. And Bisu with great micro there. If you see, brilliant micro by Bisu, maneuvering his Zealots back, and Bisu now has taken a distinct advantage in the number of Zealots that he has. He's got more reinforcements pouring through. Brilliant micro by Bisu. Even though he only had a single Zealot more, he's actually done a significant amount of damage to Stork. He's managed to kill off 3 of Stork's Zealots while only losing 1 or 2 himself, and he's got more Zealots and reinforcements pouring through. Stork obviously felt he had enough at that time to defend, and Bisu also with the Citadel of the Aden building now, so Bisu taking up quite fast, and Stork in huge trouble here. That Nexus, if that goes down, Stork is going to be in a world of hurt. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. Stork now with reinforcements arriving, trying to defend, desperately trying to defend, and he has successfully defended for now. He's got about 3 Zealots left. Bisu has got 4 though, he's got 2 more arriving, and Stork loses another Zealot, so those Zealots that survive were very low on hit points, and Bisu again now with 3 Zealots, and he's going to try and finish that Nexus off before those Zealots can get killed. That Nexus, and the Nexus dies, the Nexus goes down. Bisu manages to take the Nexus down seconds before the Zealots were going to die, and now Stork is so far behind, it's not even funny. You've got to give Bisu a decisive advantage in this first game on Loki. His superior micro showing on that occasion. He definitely had brilliant micro in that first initial encounter when Bisu had about 7 Zealots and Stork had 6. There was only a difference of 1 Zealot there. Stork had a probe to help him as well, but Bisu's micro was superior. Bisu concentrated more in that micro battle.